Welcome to Powered by Her, exploring the stories of how area women power their business. Hear from the growing network of female entrepreneurs of the Upper Cumberland with your host, Tiffany Anton, director at the Biz Foundry. Powered by Her starts now.
Hello and welcome to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and today I have Serina Wells on. Good morning, Serina.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming. And so you are kind of the serial entrepreneur type.
I am officially a serial entrepreneur. Now I have 3 businesses.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
So my first round with you was Wells Built Homes. So tell me what that is a little bit. Describe what you do with that. And because that was the biggest thing to start you off.
Yes, the overarching or first business. Actually started Wells Built Home in 2007, so I've been in business for 12 years now. So made that over that 10-year hump officially. It's a design and build firm, and in the early days we focused on we've always focused on remodeling because for me it's more creative than new construction. But we were building and remodeling $500,000 custom homes. And then kind of transitioned into design only when I had my little girls. I have 2 little girls, so I'm a mompreneur. They are 8 and 6. And so did design strictly for a while and then started slowly getting back into doing managing projects.
So you kept saying we. Did you have other people on your team with you?
Well, a lot of it is just me, but when you're in construction, you do have to hire out, subcontractors. So it really is a team effort, even if I'm leading the charge.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that you have 2 other businesses. So what are those 2 other businesses that you're venturing into right now?
Well, my other business that I'm a pedal pusher now, Pedal and Rake, and I sell cut flowers. I'm a master gardener and have always loved gardening, but officially am selling to the public this year. I'm super excited. I've been able to do a couple of events tonight. Of course, this will air later on, but Burger Fit launch party will feature some of my gorgeous blooms. And the other business that I'm doing, helping another person launch their business and a partnership is Norris Kombucha.
Okay. So are all your businesses like kids? Do you have a favorite? Do you love them all equally?
I found really they're seasonal. So, of course, flower farming happens to be during the growing season, and I take on some more major projects during the winter, starting when, we have a killing frost and then through the winter. And I do design projects a little bit all through the year, but try to do that where I'm on site during those times where I'm not doing flower farming. And then Norris Kombucha is just all the time.
Why did what made you decide to be an entrepreneur?
I was raised in a home that was, I guess it just came naturally. All my family were entrepreneurs. My father was a general contractor and a subdivision developer. My mom ran a daycare out of her home for 10 years. My grandparents had a wholesale retail nursery. A lot of my family were in the building trade, and that's how I got started in construction. My uncle is an electrician. So a lot of entrepreneurs tell that story of how people say, oh, you're going to quit your full-time job. You're going to go out on your own. It's so scary. Mine was kind of the other end of the spectrum. I'm surprised people didn't say, when are you going to go out on your own?
Yeah. So did you work in the construction world first?
I did. I actually built my first home with my dad when I was 15 years old. So people look at me all cross-eyed when I tell them I've been in the building industry for 25 years, but that's how I got started. So at 15, I actually learned how to drive going back and forth to the job site that first summer. So.
Wow. So he was your first boss?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah. And then did you work for other people after that as well?
I had various jobs, just like anybody, organically working for an attorney here in town. In high school, I did retail, those kinds of jobs. I think that probably made me realize that I wanted to not work for somebody else and that I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't work in construction under anyone else but my father. he actually called me back in after I had graduated from college. I went to Tech, and I have a degree in psychology, and he asked me to come in on that on a big subdivision project and help him develop that.
So the one thing that I find very interesting about you is that you can go from the tool belt and the work boots and the jeans to literally the jewelry coordinated with the shoes to the coordinated with the pants and the dresses. How do you wear all these hats?
That's really funny. I was just thinking that this morning when I was putting on my outfit, because you have to dress the part, right? It helps you get into character, just like acting. So, when I'm a designer, I have on the designer gear showing that I can put myself together. And then for the sad folks that are on my construction site, I don't always look so great. And it's funny how people come up to me and they're, "Oh, I've seen you." And they don't recognize me at all when I'm, all dolled up because, I'm in a tank top and shorts and my hair pulled back.
How do you juggle it all? How do you tap into what inside you allows you to tap into the proper resources for the proper events?
It's definitely a lot easier when you're going in one direction and channeling that one thing. You can kind of get your head straight. I probably put myself at a disadvantage because of that, doing all these different things. But I know that that's something that people say you're supposed to just focus and go towards one thing at a time. And I told my husband that, which he's an amazing support. I have a really good support system, and no one is in the background questioning my efforts. And I mentioned that to him. I said, what do you think that I should do going forward? I always say, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm not sure I will ever know what I want to be when I grow up, but it's okay. I don't have to grow up or be just one thing. And he said to me, "Why do you want to limit yourself? Why can't you be all those things?" And I'm surprised I didn't cry. For somebody to say that and to validate your own thoughts when you're questioning something like that, I need to be in a different mode than I am. But I definitely I don't say I wear a lot of hats. I say I wear a lot of shoes.
A lot of different types of shoes.
That's right.
We're going to find out more about where Serina draws her strengths from. You're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry, and Serina Wells, serial entrepreneur, is with us today. And so you mentioned your husband, and you have a large support system. So where else do you find emotional support?
Other extended members of my family always cheer me on. I really have a great network of people, and some of them have been on this podcast, other women entrepreneurs. And we actually have, Tiffany and I are members of this organization. We call it the Ladies Lunch and Learn, but it's all women entrepreneurs. And really, this sounds kind of corny, but it's a phenomenal, amazing experience to get together with other women who are going through the same stuff. You get lonely as an entrepreneur. You don't realize that other people are going through the same struggles that you are. Even if you kind of know that, but until you hear it from somebody else and know that, oh yeah, I can't do this thing because I have to find a babysitter, or I can't fully focus on something because I have young children, or
self-doubt. Yes,
self-doubt. And I have little things that I tell a lot of people about that self-doubt.
So how important is it that you are able to connect with women face-to-face in person once a month at this ladies' lunch?
We, like I said, once a month, we get to go and do that. And we talk about a lot of different things. We have panels. We just try to provide those resources. One of the overarching themes in everything I do is education. So it thrills me, completely to be able to pass whatever knowledge I have on to other people. It always seems to creep in no matter what I do, whether it's construction or gardening, being a business owner, just passing on that knowledge to other people. So it's really easy to do that. We hold those meetings at the Biz Foundry every
second Thursday
at 11:30. We'll sit together. It really needs to be in stereo. And all those ladies out there that are listening to this and are totally inspired by all these amazing women, please come. We would love to have you. It's a great opportunity for a mentor-mentee relationship. So if you've been in business for over 10 years, or you're even thinking that you want to make that leap to be an entrepreneur, we want you there.
So interestingly, that you get some emotional support there. How do you find the business support that you need? So you are construction, gardening, a lot of things.
Yes, ma'am.
But maybe running your finances is not your strong suit, or maybe marketing, there's got to be some suits that maybe aren't.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head.
The shoes that you don't want to wear quite as much.
That is so true. And it's hard for me because I'm that type of person that always helps other people. I'm an obliger. So I'm always giving of myself and never taking back. And so it's hard for me to reach out and say, you know what, or just to even acknowledge to myself that I need help in a certain, department, accounting, keeping my books. I hate it. I don't want to ask. Right. I don't want to ask somebody to pay me, although they're happy to write the check. I don't want to sit down and do the invoice.
So if you had to pick a pair of shoes that was accounting, what kind of shoes would accounting be? I
guess heels, since you don't have to stand in them all day if you're sitting and doing accounting work on your computer.
So how have you found the support or the resources to run a business, a legitimate business, and not just, this is a side hobby that I'm doing?
We have the internet at our disposal. So if you really want to know something specific, jump on the internet and Google it. But the thing about Googling is you have to recognize the source that it comes from, and it has to be, reputable, that information. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books. That's you have to be a lifelong learner, because even if you're established business, you just look at how business is run in the last 5 years and, last 10 years, how it's so drastically different than it has been in the past. You have to learn all about that stuff. What is SEO? Yeah. Those kinds of things. If you have to educate yourself on that stuff. And so, yes, the internet, podcasts from other wonderful people who have been there and can tell you, very specific stuff, or just general and inspirational, is also very nice. Books. And then locally, if I wanted to get some advice on something, or just maybe see if I wanted to go in the direction, I would probably hit the Biz Foundry. So
you just launched Pedal and Rake within the last couple months. So how are you? Let's give our listeners some specific tips on how to get that business out there to the public. What have you been doing that you've seen a return on?
That is a great topic, because I have been so head down, fingers in the dirt, because our weather has been so beautiful, putting all these flowers. I think I started 700 to 1,000, zinnia and other seedlings. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I need to promote, I need to launch, which meaning, coming soon, and giving little tidbits of stuff. And so I really started on social media. The first thing that I did was, put up an Instagram page and a subsequent Facebook page. I have a pretty strong network in Cookeville. So Pedal and Rake is fresh farm flowers, organically grown. And so there are other amazing flower farmers here in town. They're also master gardeners. And so instead of taking away from them, I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm actually kind of hitching that same wagon on working with entrepreneurs, which I do a lot. I found very much fell in love with working with other entrepreneurs and other businesses when we designed and built out the Biz Foundry. And so I really have a heart for it. And I want to provide to those women, business owners, and others, it doesn't have to be necessarily women, but business owners that are too busy to jump over and go get fresh flowers. So I provide business weeklies, we call it in the industry. It's a bouquet, but we do deliveries to businesses and boutiques, and in a vase, all ready to go.
So you're trying to find your niche to kind of make you different than all the other flower
That's
farmers
right.
that are out there.
And since I already have that network of people that are in, I've been working that network. So I've been calling people up and saying, hey, do you need flowers for your boutique? I've been, so kind of like hitting the streets, kind of old style, promoting, face to face. Cultivating relationships, I think, is important. Instead of just trying to sell to somebody, cultivating that relationship is how I'm starting to market besides social media.
Do you find that in the Upper Cumberland that we're in a unique situation where you can hit the streets and go door to door and people will respond to you more than, you go to even just Nashville and you're trying to sell it that way and not build the relationship. I feel like we have this like kind of magical area where we can use our relationships to further our businesses.
Yes, I love Cookeville. If there was a second or third champion of Cookeville besides those two other podcast hosts that we all love, I might be number 3. I absolutely love Cookeville. I'm originally from Franklin, Williamson County area, born and raised, and I choose Cookeville over anywhere else in the world. So, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's the people that are in Cookeville that really draw you in. And so there are these little circles of people. So once you know one person, they say, oh, I'll tell this person, and you don't even realize that you already kind of were in that circle and you know that person's best friend. So it's interesting. It's, the Kevin Bacon 7, yes. Not very far removed from anybody in Cookeville.
Right.
And everybody is so, I would say for the most part, there's not very many people out there that aren't willing to help a person out. Something that I love about Cookeville is that someone will hold the door for you and they will say thank you to you when you hold the door for them. And other places that doesn't happen anymore. And that's why I'm here.
And people say sir and ma'am.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
We'll find out more about Pedal and Rake in a second. You're listening to Powered by Her in the Hinson Oakley Podcast Center. We have Serina Wells in today, and I am Tiffany Anson. And so do you feel like you have to teach people why they want flowers or why they should have to? Do you feel like that's part of your marketing aspect of things that maybe is a little bit different than a remodel of a house?
On flowers is actually probably the one business that I don't feel like I have to convince somebody or have that educational component ahead of making a sale to somebody. Everybody knows flowers just bring joy, to you, to others. It makes me so excited. The ladies from Cityscape came over to my pop-up shop at the Biz Foundry yesterday and got flowers, and it just makes my face hurts from smiling so much when they're so happy about having those flowers. And so I don't know that you have to really convince anybody of having flowers. I think once you get a little bouquet on your desk and you get to see it, you're kind of hooked. Now on other in other businesses, you do have to have that educational component to it, like the kombucha. People don't know what it is. You have to explain it to, and some people do. But those who don't, you have to kind of explain to them why they should be drinking it, for the health benefits.
So do you think that educational aspect will help you grow that business to another level? Are you having a kombucha movement in?
Hopefully, come this fall, we'll have a kombucha movement. Yes, those kind of things, as they become more readily known to the public, just in general. I'm a master gardener, and those folks, this particular chapter, if you will, are all older retiree types. And even they come up to me and say, oh, I've learned about this, and I want, here's my money.
So other than word of mouth, how else do you educate people? Are you using your social media aspects? Are you blogging? How else are you educating people on kombucha or the different aspect?
Face to face mostly. Occasionally we'll do some posts like that. It's definitely something that we need to do more of, is to put that information out there into the world. And I think we're still launching, Norris Kombucha itself has been in play for part of last year. And so we are really going to hit it hard in come the fall when our head brewer is
done with school.
Right.
Yeah. What advice have you had over the years about running your own business that has really helped you kind of keep going?
If I had to give somebody else some advice based on my own experience, it'd be like I had said to you before. Don't be afraid to recognize and admit and reach out for that help. Because I think sometimes we spin our wheels a little bit too much, it's great to educate yourself. And I think you should. You wouldn't go to an attorney, I wouldn't at least, or a doctor without knowing at least a little bit of base information about it. And so you know if they're, selling you a bill of goods. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't do that same thing in your business, but you don't screw around too long without reaching out to the professionals who can really make your,
take you to that next level.
That's right.
So have you had a time in any of these businesses, probably more so the construction phase of business, that was just a dark period of things were not going right, maybe a bad interactions with a customer, where you kind of found some adversity, and how did you get through that?
Well, this one's probably pretty obvious, but I had just launched my own company and was remodeling. Our list price was going to be $640,000. It was a 5,500 square foot house. It was an old farmhouse. It was on a property that we were actually developing the subdivision. And so I had remodeled that whole house, and then here comes the crash. And so we actually held that house and rented it out for 6 years. Mm. And during that time, we decided to take that hiatus to start a family. And the timing couldn't have been better, but it was very hairy, having that large property, in play. Although it was rented out, still very stressful.
Did you feel like maybe now we're starting a family? Maybe this is not where I want to be spending my efforts and energy anymore?
The family I never questioned because just starting late. I think I was 31, 32 when I had Harper. That was just good timing. If there was ever going to be a good time, that was it. But I did question whether I wanted to continue doing construction stuff. It's hard to when there's, it's dead out there. I knew at some point it would be available to me again. Even like when my littlest one, Morgan, is going to kindergarten, I have been in my mind for a year putting forth the effort to, how am I going to trump this up and be ready to roll, full force.
Do you think you'll go back to the construction stuff?
Yes. In fact, I have loved working for the Biz Foundry, and we have on the books 2 other projects, one in McMinnville and one in Sparta. McMinnville will be for me, a design job. I will not be managing that project, but the one that's going to follow it in Sparta, we have already designed that one, and I will manage that project. So yes, I really enjoy doing them. Sometimes, if you're in a job, you hate going to work every day, but I was jazzed to go to that construction site every day because I knew I was working towards something bigger than myself. So,
do you find that you're just a person with a lot of passion? Because
yes,
I feel like they're so, you're brewing a healthy juice and playing in the dirt and, I love
playing in the dirt
and dealing with, electricians that don't show up. Like, they're just such different things, but they clearly, I can feel in this room, you're just so passionate about all of them.
I have a lot of energy, apparently. I'm a problem solver. And that's what I say about any problems when I'm talking to a client. If you have a problem, it's just an opportunity for a creative solution. So I could say the same thing to a business owner. If you have a problem and you can't get your head around it, or you think it's the end, this is just an opportunity for you to pivot or, come up with a creative solution. So overall, I'm just highly creative. And then, yes, I put a lot of passion into anything I do.
What do you think is next for you? What's your next business adventure that you think you're going to start out?
I should probably focus on the ones I have for a little while, but it's not going to happen. I have a business idea 3 times a day. But I would like to see if I can further pedal and rake. But the construction stuff is something I love. I just love anything I can do to make something with my hands. I always love to design stuff, build stuff, make stuff. So if anything that I'm doing that I'm creating something with my hands, and I can step back and say, I made that. I'm there.
How much are you using the girls? You mentioned you have a 6 and 8-year-old. How much are they involved in Pedal and Rake?
Well, Morgan is my irrigation specialist, and Harper is the head of marketing and sales. So they have official titles.
There you go. Are they loving it? Do you feel like you're inspiring the next generation of Powered by Hers that are going to be?
Those little girls that are born to women entrepreneurs they're hilarious. Harper is the type. She's definitely going to be an entrepreneur on some level. She's the lemonade stand girl. And when we had this, I have bushels of daffodils that I've had just personal in my perennial gardens. And we had a frost that came and it knocked all the daffodils over. So I went through and cut them all. They all looked fabulous. They were just laid over on their side. And I had maybe 10 massive bouquets. And I said, we're going to go around and sell these. And she may have lost her mind. How excited she was. So we hit the Children's Museum and sold some bouquets, and it really lit her on fire. So we'll be having a little pop-up stand on Saturday mornings on our little nano farm, as I like to say. It's the tiniest of flower farms, and she will be manning that little stand and living it up.
That's pretty exciting to be able to inspire these young females.
Oh, yes.
That you can do anything you want to do. You don't have to be stuck into my 8-year-old has said she wants to be an entrepreneur when she grows up. And I'm like, do you know what that means? And she said, I don't know. But I think she will find what she wants to do, because I think she's kind of just inspired by the world that I live in. And so it's pretty cool to be able to do that.
Yes. I think my little one also follows in my footsteps in her ability to focus. But maybe we can work on that together.
Yeah, we can find you some people that
I need to outsource that. Can anybody get me some focus up in here?
Yeah. So is there any other information, anything that you want to impart on anyone before we kind of wrap up here today?
I did another thing that I guess I would tell other entrepreneurs from my experiences, that in 12 years I've been in business, I've tried a lot of different ways of advertising. Traditional ways like in the yellow pages or direct mail kinds of things. And none of them seem to really work for me. Lead generators, they just didn't float my boat. And I've always just organically done this, giving back to my community. I'm involved in lots of, community-wide projects like the Heart of the City Playground, and I work and hold leadership positions with nonprofit organizations. A few that I work with now are Food to the Rescue, Cookeville Children's Museum, Habitat for Humanity. I'm sure I'm leaving some out. The Biz Foundry. They're all amazing organizations, and there are many, many more in Cookeville who are doing wonderful things. And if we give a little bit of our time to those and extend our talents to those people that are trying to make those things happen, it just makes our community such a much better place. You have the opportunity to network, and then people know, and they say, hey, this chick, Serina, she's awesome.
So you mentioned networking. I mean, that is very, very true, is that when you put yourself in these circles, people undersell networking a lot, but yet then people know what you're doing. They know your product that you're putting out there, and then they are able to refer people to you. So, I mean, that's a huge, huge thing, is giving a little bit of our time, which doesn't necessarily cost us monetarily. And it can really further your business.
Yes, I think that comes first, because I just love to give of myself first. But I think that's how I have such a large network of people, is because ever since I have been in Cookeville, my husband Aaron and I, not as married couple, came here to Tech in '98, and he is a mechanical engineer, works for Cummins, and an amazing furniture builder in his own right. Went to Tech, and I had got my degree in psychology there. And so since we've been here, I have always given back to my community. I volunteered for Habitat, even in college. And so I started there, and then, just met lots of people through those types of things. So give of yourself, and it will come back to you tenfold, if not 100-fold.
And through your business. And it's,
yes.
you know, it's not only just the good feelings. It definitely is a good, I mean, that's interesting that you almost use that as that's your number one marketing technique.
It really is. If you can get to a point in your business where you're not necessarily by referral only, but pretty much by referral, you can overcome that hump of having to convince somebody of your value. You can just get straight to work providing them with an amazing, incredible service or product. And that's the way I like to roll.
Great. Thank you for that. That's definitely great advice. So thank you, Serina, for being here today. You're listening to Powered by Her in the Hints and Oakley Podcast Center. I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry. Serina Wells, how can we get in touch with you? So Pedal and Rake has Facebook and Instagram.
That's right. And so does Wells Built Home. I'm up there in the world as just Serina Wells, as well, SerinAWells.
Okay. And does the kombucha have?
It does on Instagram and Facebook. Norris Kombucha, Pedal and Rake, Wells Built Home. Excellent. No S, kind of like Martha Stewart Home. All things home.
If people can't find you,
I know
they're living under a rock.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiffany. I've had a great time.